The 2024 Strongman season is over, and we are bringing you the official top 10 strongmen of 2024, as chosen by you guys, the Big Loss official subscribers. Okay guys, 2024 season over, obviously. We've brought you our own rankings for a few years in the past. This year we wanted to put it over to you guys. So Auntie Liz put a poll out there the other day. You guys have been voting and you've been tallying up the votes.
Yeah, and I think it's a great list. I think they've done a really good job.
It's a really great list. Yeah, as a collective, you guys have done a damn good job. Couple of people in there with some weird ones, but we'll let them off.
There's always some people with some funny ideas, but for the most part, I think it's the right top 10 probably.
Should we get into it?
Yes, let's.
So starting off this list is Maxim Boudreau. Now Maxim did not have the best start to the season, didn't do all that well at the Arnold's, however he was going in there with a torn lat. Not ideal for such a big competition. He moved straight on, went to the UK for the UK Arnold's. Again, not so good, meant he missed out on World's Strongest Man. But that was probably the best thing for him because he got a little bit of a break, was able to go away, refocus, put the work in, and then he came back as a machine, taking first place at the North American Championships, beating a number of guys that are ranked above him on this list. Took second place at Giants Live. Can't remember which job was it, the World Open?
Yeah, Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham World Open. Great to see Maxim on the podium there.
Yeah.
And he's really proved he's back in form and doing well in strongman competitions, which we love to see.
Maxim is a former podium finisher at the World's Strongest Man, so we know on his day he is an absolutely incredible athlete. And I think it's fair that he's crept back up into this list, especially given his performance at North America's Strongest Man.
And I keep saying it in many videos now, but it shows that just because you don't get invited to all the big competitions, that's not the end of it. No. It can motivate you to go away and work hard, and that's exactly what Maxim's done. Pulled himself straight back in, and even with missing World's Strongest Man this year, he is in the top 10.
So in at number 9 on our list, and it's Andrade, and I'm so pleased to see him here because I agree, but I wasn't sure if the fandom would. However, Austin's had a great year. He did his first World's Strongest Man, made the final, came 7th overall. Strongest Man on Earth, I think, probably was his biggest performance of the year. He was really battling for that 3rd podium spot. He ended up in 5th place there. And then he competed at Giants Live Vegas, where he took 4th place. He lifted a 470 kilo deadlift. Unfortunately, it just did not stay up.
Yeah, unfortunately fell back with the 470, but yeah, he's had a good year, and that performance at Strongest Man on Earth, I think he was in 3rd place going into the last event. It was a real battle between him, Lucas, and Trey Mitchell. But he has been so good to see the development of Austin over the last few years. First introduced to him at Latino Strongest Man a couple of years ago, which he took the win at, and then we saw him at the World Open doing the deadlift.
That was only last year. Isn't that incredible?
And yeah, he's just kind of coming on leaps and bounds, and you can see the confidence in himself now.
Yeah.
He believes he's one of the best guys. He's been invited to the Arnold Strongman Classic for 2025, and I think that's the perfect comp for him.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really glad to see him invited to the Arnold.
He's an absolute powerhouse. Yeah. Be interested to see how his 2025 goes. The next man on our list competed 6 times in 2024. It's Luke Stopman. Started off the season really well, taking 3rd place at Britain's Strongest Man and then taking the win at Europe's Strongest Man. Went on to make another final of World's Strongest Man. Had a bicep issue really that kind of cost him competing in a few contests, had to have some time off, really refocus on his training, and he ended the year very, very strong, taking 5th place at the Rogue Invitational.
So Luke is not one of the names in the lineup for the Arnold's next year. However, I think if he wants to retain his Europe's Strongest Man title, that's probably not a terrible thing.
No, I think at his age as well, his name is down to do Britain's Strongest Man. He's never won Britain's Strongest Man, so he'll want to come in shape for that. And obviously, if he wants to win Europe's, I think having that time between is important.
So number 7 on the list is Trey Mitchell. And Trey has had an interesting year for him. He missed out on the Arnold's because, of course, end of last year, he tore his Achilles at the Rogue Invitational, so he wasn't back in time for that. World's Strongest Man was his first competition back. Wasn't, like, compared to what we're used to seeing from Trey at the Worlds, it wasn't his best performance. That was the first time he didn't make the final. But then he came back to the Strongest Man on Earth, and he came 4th there. That was the first little, glimmer of the old Trey that we saw. And then at Giants Live Vegas, he was was in second place, and the Giants Live World Tour final, he was also in second place. So really strong finish to the year for Trey.
He's got better and better as the year's gone on. Obviously, Trey had a massive serious injury. He tore his Achilles at the end of 2023. Very, very difficult injury to come back from. His recovery has been superb. We saw him at the Arnold's, just coming to support the guys, and you could see he was visibly a lot smaller. He has recovered really well. Training for Worlds wasn't the best, but I mean, let's be honest. You've got to say, the strongest man on earth before that Shore Classic, that's been his most successful competition, and it's really brought that confidence back after that. To go on then, the 470 deadlift that he pulled in Vegas was unbelievable. Without a suit. And took 2 podium finishes, second place in both Giants Lives that he did. He's going back to the Arnold's in 2025. He's going to be at World's Strongest Man. I love seeing Trey in shape. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in 2025. Next up, we have a guy that did not compete in World's Strongest Man. Only did 2 competitions in 2024, but it is the incredible Polish Terminator, Mateusz Kosovski, a man who came second at the Arnold's this year, which I think a lot of us forget about. Only this year he was second. He's been on the podium at the Arnold's so many times. And then finished the year winning the Magnus Firm Magnuson Classic. Again, an athlete that suffered a torn Achilles, but incredible recovery. These guys, the recovery and the surgery seems to be getting much, much better for this type of injury.
Recovered from yours.
Well, I'm a bit older and, maybe missed out on whatever miracle these boys have had. But, I'm glad to see both of them back, particularly Mateusz, because he is an exciting strongman, someone that so many people love to watch. He is so good at so many events. And again, great to see him in the top 10. But also really looking forward to his 2025. He's talking about doing a number of competitions. He wants to compete. And he was looking good at the Magnus Firm Magnuson Classic, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And so far he's confirmed for the Arnold's next year and Europe's Strongest Man, which is exciting. So number 5 on this year's list is Evan Singleton. Now, Evan's had a really up and down year. He started off at the Arnold Strongman Classic, picked up an injury there, unfortunately. World's Strongest Man was his best performance yet. He was on the podium for the first time, taking 3rd place behind Tom and Mitch. But then the Giants Live shows where Evan has reliably at least been on the podium.
He's taken 5 Giants Live wins in the past. They've not gone as they normally do for Evan this year.
No, not at all. But then Strongest Man on Earth, we started to see a bit of that old Evan. He had some tough calls as well, which did affect his placing there. He was 6th overall in the end.
He really had some tough calls, but he kind of coped with it well. And I think he finished the year really strong.
He finished great. 4th place at the Rogue Invitational, only behind Mitch, who won, and then Thor and Tom, who were tied for 2nd place.
Yeah. I know Evan so wants to win the World's Strongest Man, and he is a threat in any competition. When he gets it right, we've seen it many times. He has beaten all the top strongmen there are to beat. It's just getting it right on the day. And I think, a fresh, well-prepared Evan is always going to be dangerous. What a year it's been for the next man on the list. Lucas Hatton. Again, an athlete that didn't do World's Strongest Man. However, he has not been off a podium in 2024. Started off the year at the Arnold's UK, where he took 3rd place in that competition. 2nd place behind Maxim Boudreau at the North American Championships. But the big result for me was when he took 3rd place at the Strongest Man on Earth. An amazing performance there by Lucas, and really showing why he is one of the top guys in the world. He defended his America's Strongest Man title as well. He's won that 2 years in a row. But I am very excited to see this man in 2025. He is down to do all the major comps, I'm sure. And he is a threat. I've seen some incredible lifts from him in his training. Just very recently did 600 pounds for 20 reps, which... On the squat, which is just unbelievable. I think high rep squats really beneficial for strongman, and he is supreme at them.
Into the top 3 then, and I think most people had the same top 3, maybe in slightly different orders, but in at number 3 is Hatton Julius Bonson in his comeback year to strongman. So he started the year at the Arnold Strongman Classic, where he placed 4th. He was 2nd place at the Arnold UK after that. He did the Strongman Champions League Dubai, which he won. He won Iceland's Strongest Man, and he was 2nd at the Strongest Man on Earth and joint 2nd at the Rogue Invitational. So some massive international podiums there in the major shows. Hasn't pulled out a big major win yet, but I do feel like it's coming.
Yeah, and he probably won more events than anyone.
Oh, he did. He did,
he outright won a number of events. Looked exceptional on certain things. The big thing that's held him back is his pressing, although it does look to slowly be improving. Is it going to continue to improve into 2025? That's what we need to see. But yeah, 2024 has been unbelievable. To see him back, I guess it's probably in terms of his own kind of thought process, it's been a disappointing year.
The standard that he
holds himself to an extremely high standard. However, it is a comeback year. He's continuing that into 2025, and I think if the pressing can continue to get better, then we are in for some amazing battles. Now, number 2 on the list is the incredible Tom Stopman. Now, it amazes me that people have said he's had a bad year, and even himself has sometimes at certain points said, it's not been good enough. If you look at what he's done this year very quickly, Britain's Strongest Man, first place. Arnold's Ohio, he was 3rd. He went on to win the World's Strongest Man competition for the 3rd time. Giants Life Strongman Classic took 2nd place just behind Mitch Hooper. Then he came 7th at the Strongest Man on Earth, which is a lower result for someone that, we all rank so highly. However, let's remember there was a squat in there, which is notoriously not his best event. His deadlift had been bothering him a little, and he zeroed the stones. Even if he just did a normal stone performance from him, he probably would have been in the top 3, or certainly there or thereabouts. So one bad performance. He was injured at Giants Live Vegas, came 10th in that one out of 10, and then he was back on the podium at the Rogue Invitational. He's been on the podium in 5 of the 7 comps that he's done in 2024. He won the World's Strongest Man. He won his national title. He is an incredible strongman.
No prizes for guessing who was number 1 on the list, and it was almost unanimous from all the people that sent in their top 10. One exception, a Polish fan had Mateusz number 1, but other than that, everyone put Mitchell Hooper in the number 1.
I'm a big Mateusz fan, but he, I think even Mateusz would put...
Mateusz would be like, what are you doing here? No, absolutely. So let's look at Mitch's year then. He started off at the Arnold Strongman Classic where he was 1st. Then he did the Arnold UK, he was 1st. With the World's Strongest Man, he placed 2nd. Giants Live Strongman Classic, he was 1st. Then it was the Strongest Man on Earth where he was 1st. Then it was Giants Live World Open, he was 1st again. Giants Live Vegas, 1st again. Oh, hold on, I'm racking my brains. Giants Live World Tour Final, 1st again, and then the Rogue Invitational, 1st again. He won 8 out of 9 competitions that he did, and he came 2nd in the other. Did I remember them in order?
You did extremely well. Yes. You got it all right in order. I was just going to say, do you think it was luck?
Probably not. Do you know what? When was it? I can't remember, but he was like, there's not been a single win of mine that hasn't been shrouded in some sort of controversy. That seems to have died down a little bit this year.
When you have a resume like that, it's
hard to deny he is actually a really good strongman.
Yeah, I think it's clear to see he's exceptional. He can compete in any type of competition to win events like World's Strongest Man. I know he didn't win that this year, but he has in the past. Rogue Invitational, that's a different type of comp again. The Arnold Strongest Man on Earth, and then the Giants Live shows, which are so fast-paced, one-day shows. Mitch is a complete strongman. Very, very... no weaknesses. Things that can always get better, but no real weaknesses. But he's motivated. The fact that he didn't win World's Strongest Man this year will keep him motivated as well. With all those other athletes that are kind of... They are chasing him. They will want to close the gap. They'll want to come in shape. I think we're in for an exciting 2025. However, 2024 100% belongs to Mitch Hooper.
So I have some extra tidbits for you. Had we continued this list, I can see it. Had we continued this list, Matt Ragg would have been in 11th place. Luke Richardson would have been 12th place. Reno now would have been 13th place based on... Yeah, it is interesting. And there were, of course, lots of other names that were thrown into that hat as well. Bobby Thompson. Alexei Novikov, I mean, he's not had a great year, to be honest. No. I probably wouldn't put him on my top 10.
No, but interesting to see how all those guys will do going into next year as well. Certainly seeing, like, Matt Ragg has had a good year. Maybe... I think the excitement from last year, everyone was expecting Matt to maybe be like top 5.
They're calling him Matt Mogg.
Yeah. Luke Richardson for sure. It's been really good to see him sort of back in the scene and doing 2 podiums at Giants Live. And Reno has had a great year. I want to see Reno against the very best guys.
Yeah, I hope he does some of those big qualifiers this year. Next year, because we've seen like the pathway into Pro Strongman now, Amateur Arnold's, Shore Classic, OSG. If you go to those and you do well there, you're going to get invited.
It's not to say he doesn't get direct invite to something bigger as well. And there's certainly a chance of that. And, you know, I'd love to see how he does.
And also, I talked about the fact that Mitch being in number 1 spot was almost unanimous. You could almost say the same for Tom and Thor as well. Most people had Tom in second, Thor in third. Some had it the other way around. But the ones that the people found the hardest to place was Lucas Hatton and Mateusz Kosovski. Between them, they covered 8 different spots on people's lists. Yeah. So
that is interesting.
It was actually really complicated for me to.
Well, anytime we've ever done rankings, everyone's got their own opinions,
of course,
and that's what we all love. But I think as a collective, you guys have done amazing with this list.
Solid.
I wouldn't really change it too much myself. I think it looks spot on. I think these are the top 10 guys that I would have in a top 10, pretty much in that order as well. But as always, don't forget, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe to the channel. And I hope all of you are as excited for Strongman in 2025 as we are.
So I have some little tidbits for you.
A bit louder.
I have some tidbits. So I have some little tidbits for you. So I don't that word make us laugh. Stop. So I have some. Okay. I have some. A little bit more data for you then. If we'd continued this list. So some more data for you then, because I know you love it, Lozzie. So if we'd continued this list.
Sorry.
Stop.
You're not going with tidbits anymore.
No, I fucking can't say it. You've ruined it for me.